after the controversy that was Amazing Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man was rebooted in Captain America Civil War, soon after getting his own solo movie in Spider-Man Homecoming.
What?
Released in 2017, it was directed by John Watts, also director of Fantastic Four. It stars Tom Holland, Michael Keaton, Robert Downey Jr., and Jared Leto. It has a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 3.6 on Letterboxd. It has made $880 million on a $175 million budget, John.
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
On the movie?
General thoughts?
I will say objectively it's a good movie.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know what it is. I can't really get into these movies.
I loved it.
Like, I enjoy it. Like, in the end, it feels like he's Spider-Man. But, here's the problem. They did an origin story without trying to do an origin story.
I think it works.
But they might have all just done the origin story. Rewatching this, that's how I feel about it.
I don't think so.
They literally, his origin story is him becoming responsible. But
yeah.
Usually he finds that, like, halfway through not even halfway through the movie. Like, the first, 25% of the movie, he finds that, right? This, he doesn't realize it until the end. Half the entire time. And then, like, Spider-Man is, like, how he has to leave to go save people. But half the time it doesn't feel like he, like, it just doesn't feel like there's any stakes in this movie for me.
Yeah, the stakes aren't too high for me. Well, they kind of are. Like, in the ferry scene and the Washington Monument scene. But, like, this just... I don't know. I was surprised about how much this felt like Spider-Man. And, like, okay, no one dies. But he, like, loses... He has to, like, sacrifice things consistently. The entire, like, decathlon moment... continuously getting attention.
I also feel like, though, that's not even because he feels the need to do it. To me, that feels like he wants to do it because he wants to be recognized by Tony and, like, by people.
But it's not, though. Or he'd be with, like, all of his friends. Or, like...
No, I'm saying that's the reason he leaves, like, though. That's what it feels like to me.
I don't... And, like, with Liz, too, it's like he feels the responsibility to stop this because he's the only one who can. Because he's thinking, the Avengers won't do it. Which is why, like, as I was watching this, I was like, these movies are all, like, very different because of how, like, all three Spider-Man, sagas, we'll call them. Because, like, the original, it's only Spider-Man in that universe, so it's, like, it's this grand hero, that's kind of the idea. It's this, like, comic book, lighthearted adventure. And then Amazing Spider-Man is similar, but, like, darker. And then this is, like, it just is, I think it's, like, interesting because it's, like, cool to see how he interacts with the world considering he came in 9 years into the MCU. That. And so, like, I don't know, like, all the hate I heard, I really was expecting to be like, oh my god, here's another Avengers reference. But I think they all work well because this is the first, like, small-scale story in New York.
I don't mind the Avengers references and stuff like that because it's, like...
Like, the Bruce Banner thing is super creative to me.
I feel like it's like, how would a kid work and, like, when he grew up with all these heroes?
Yeah.
So I don't mind that, but, like, it's just, I don't know what it was. It just didn't know.
And also, I think that, I haven't seen Far From Home yet since I watched it, like, a couple times in theaters, but I feel that Iron Man's going to be a much more egregious presence in that movie than in this, because he only has 7 minutes of screen time. Everyone knows that. But even when he's not there, it's not like he's this, like, constant pressure. It's kind of an excuse that Spider-Man uses quite often, but it's not, it's just like a metaphor for being Spider-Man. Just using the word Stark, I think that's more creative than like, oh my god, another Stark reference. Because he's like, he gets his ass beat, comes home late, and then is like, lost his Stark internship. He's like, he can't.
I just also feel like they're too loose with his identity in these movies.
I don't. I think it's nice to have Ned, because...
No, I get it's nice, but like, how they're just talking about certain things in front of people, like how they have the web shooters on the bus and like just sitting there.
Yeah, but that happens in all of them. You have to suspend your disbelief a little bit, because like in reality, no one's really paying. Oh, I think the thing is like no one's paying attention. You're not listening to every conversation you hear in the hallways, especially like it's the loser.
See, that's the point though. Like I feel like it'd be cool if they expanded on that. I feel like I feel like these movies have a lot of good ideas. They just don't expand on them.
Maybe, but I really didn't. I didn't feel that way at all. Honestly, I kind of get where you're coming from, but like as I was watching the movie, I was just like, It's a nice, small adventure for Spider-Man. It's like, I can't see them dedicating an entire Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie to something like this. But they're able to. Like that scene, near the beginning where he just does small things. I love it. It literally feels like a 70s, one-off, like issue 456. It's just like a random thing. He stops a bike thief. He stops the wrong person. Then he deals with like these small-time criminals. And we'll get to like more specifics on Vulture and everything in a little bit. But
I mean, I guess maybe in these movies, I don't know why, I just don't have an emotional attachment to these characters yet.
I don't know. I do.
I'm happy, obviously, but like, I mean, like when maybe it's like everyone else besides Peter, because when he like, there's a scene where he has to leave his friends to go stop Vulture.
Yeah.
I just don't feel any attachment to that. Like when I'm watching Sam Raimi and like Peter has to leave MJ somewhere and go do something.
Yeah, I mean, but that's like that I don't understand, obviously, but that's just logistics of human emotion. Like I do, I'm like, oh shit.
Yes.
Like he has to like leave this thing that he's so close to having, like that Spider-Man. Because there's also like that mini like Spider-Man, no more thing. After he gets a suit taken away, where we see that like he kind of thrives when he's not Spider-Man, and it's like I think that's really good because they already did Spider-Man No More and Spider-Man 2, so why would you do a whole movie about what if he's not Spider-Man? What does that do for Peter Parker?
I did think that part was good. But
and I forgot about that. And then the instant he becomes Spider-Man, he loses everything he just gained.
I also think there was a little bit too much AI in this movie.
I don't, because I think it just creates some it makes some funny moments, and the only thing I don't like is the voice, like the Jarvis type thing. Solely for I mean, I like that he gets to talk to someone, because then it's a little less weird than him talking to himself. But still, that is the one thing I'm like, Also, the other criticism I have, big one, is that I don't like that Iron Man saves the fairy. I think that it would have been a huge tone change if they just killed half the people on that ferry. But either Spider-Man saves it, or like one half falls before like Iron Man saves the other half, and then maybe Spider-Man has to directly save the people, like swing through. But I thought everything else about that scene was great. Like when he was webbing it up, that looked really cool. The way he like takes down the people and just the action in general. I really liked the fairy scene. So like I just overall, like all the criticisms that people made, and I've just heard for the past like 4 years continuously without even seeing the movie, were like settled. I'm like, I don't really think that way. And I get it's subjective, but I do think he loses, and I think that this is probably, to my memory, the most pure Spider-Man movie for the MCU. That and Civil War. I think they definitely lose a little bit in Far From Home, if I remember correctly.
I do think, though, out of all these, that No Way Home is going to be easily the best. Not even because I just feel like maybe it's just because I don't necessarily like the tone of these movies.
Yeah.
I think I like kind of like, I feel like this is just a little bit too campy for me, if that makes sense. I like a little bit darker than this, even if it's just a little bit, which is why I think I'm going to be really excited I'm really going to enjoy No Way Home a lot more.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with it. I just, like, it's just a debate because, like, you only can make so many Spider-Man movies. They can make a lot over time. But he can only have so many. So is it worth making one of them, like, a small-scale, fun adventure? I think so. I think it's worth it. Maybe you won't. I think maybe Far From Home was a wasted chapter, as it may fall in between. But we'll talk about that when I rewatch it. But, yeah, in general. And then moving into like the specifics of Spider-Man, we pretty much covered most of the things I wanted to. But the suit was much better than I remembered. I actually really like the suit. I forgot where I ranked it, but it may go higher. Though I think wherever I ranked it was.
I wish there was a little bit more red in it, though.
Maybe.
And the black lines were a little bit more
CGI was a little rough, but I overall appreciate it for the moving eyes. I think that's one of the smartest things they did. Because it's so subtle. Sometimes you don't even realize it. But just him to be able to like be shocked and whatever I think that was really smart. We can move on to the supporting characters. So I guess we can start with Iron Man. Yeah, he really was way less egregious than I thought. Also,
I never had a problem with him being in this movie. I know people have, but I didn't really care.
I was surprised because like most of the discourse was like too much Iron Man.
I think it's just like I think people. Well, what I feel like is there's too much Iron Man causing things in these movies.
But he really doesn't. Like, okay, he makes the force that puts Vulture out of business. Yeah, but other than that, it's just like I think that the best line to encapsulate it is after Spider-Man stops them, Vulture doesn't give a fuck about Iron Man. All he says was, I want to kill Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. So, like, just like in the comics, the same way that Vulture's after Osborn, and in Spectacular Spider-Man, he's after Osborn, and then Spider-Man stops him, and then Vulture, being a spiteful guy, is like, I'm going to kill this kid. So
I think also the complaint is also that just his only 2 villains have been caused by Iron Man.
Mysterio, however, that, looking backward, that's pretty, it's like directly, and then it doesn't even really tie back into Spider-Man, but I think that the opening scene makes Vulture a villain through Tony, but it's not like halfway through we have a flashback to Tony being like, I want you to send a force to stop those people on the streets or whatever, you know? So it doesn't really, I don't really mind it at the end of the day. But I really, really like the conversation after the ferry.
With Iron
I think
Man?
that was really poignant. Like, I mean, if you can't do Uncle Ben giving the conversation, he killed it because, like, he just tightens up and he tries to fight. And also, you know, obviously the part where he's like, if you were here right now, and he just steps out, badass. And the opening scene made me forget how much I miss Tony Stark. It was just like, yeah, we're going to miss him.
We'll never see him again.
He's so charming, you know, making moves right away. He's like trying to get Aunt May, who doesn't like him.
It was weird seeing just the Marvel logo.
It was
without Iron Man being like grayed out and stuff.
Yeah. Made me miss him, but and then Aunt May, who I liked way more than I remembered. Like her not knowing Peter in this was really good because you can see she's like she's younger, so she's way more like fun than the.
I feel like she was like too much of a friend though.
I don't think so because then she really is concerned about him, and like
that scene was really good, but I just mean like overall. And then
I think that's my favorite part of the
build on it.
The Far From Home. See, that's where I think it falls. But for this movie alone, I think she works incredibly well, and that the sequence from the ferry to Iron Man's talk to Aunt May to like Spider-Man No More sequence, easily the best part of the movie for me. Like. It's those sequences like that, and then the early, like, small times, you know, downtown New York, Spider-Man, that it's like, you know, I've been waiting to see something like that. And this one gives it the time that other ones really haven't been able to or thought of. Then we have the school friends. Ned Lead, funnier than I remembered. He's a great presence. And there isn't, I mean, that's the big one. I think Flash... maybe a little bit wasted, but dude, I really want to see the bully again for the 3rd time. This is a cool take. Yeah. He's funny. Whatever.
I just still think it's like, as the audience, we see him as a bigger loser than Peter.
Yeah.
Is why it's like...
that's the one thing. So
yeah.
But I think that he is more of a character than, you know, maybe the one in the original Sam Raimi trilogy. Mm-hmm. Like he is a person. Obviously, I mean, Liz, that's always... She's just a love interest, whatever. Betty Brant isn't really expanded upon in this movie. Most of the school friends are in Far From Home. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, as like Ned was really great, and obviously Happy. I really like Happy. He's just funny. That one part where like Ned tries to talk to him, and he's like, oh fuck, and he just hangs up on him. That's funny. So yeah, Happy. Let's hope he doesn't die.
I think he's gonna die.
John, shut up. All right, let's talk about the Vulture. I loved him.
I think he's really good in the movie, yeah.
He's very Green Goblin-esque. Like a lot of elements about him. First off, I love the look. It's a great movie interpretation of the look. The wings are badass. And then I like the crew in general. It's just like a cool, small-scale thing. Because I think they could have maybe not done more with the Shocker, but at least given him this like comic accurate suit.
Yeah.
Because
they kind of try to give it to that one dude and then they kill him.
They kill him. I just I didn't need more from the Shocker. but I think that I could have used the comic accurate suit, and I think it's arbitrary, but I think it would have done a lot for the character.
Mm-hmm.
Just made him more memorable as a villain. But yeah, as Vulture goes, the twist is still great. And the car scene, holy shit, I love that. Michael Keaton
car scene is really good.
Kills that. And little Tom Holland just doesn't know what to do, man. Oh my gosh, I love that. I love it, John. And then I think that I really forgot how much I like the use of the Chitauri tech. Because I remember loving that when I saw the movie. Like the logistics of what if alien technology was left on the streets was something that we never even like tapped on. We were like, Hydra got it, but they're a huge organization, you know. So it's like,
I think also why I really like after the part where he loses his suit is because he's on his own. Because like every time before that, I think why I don't feel like there's stakes is because I feel like he could easily be bailed out by his suit, Tony, or just somebody else. Yeah,
I guess it's true. But like the Washington Monument scene, it's not the suit that saves the people, you know. But yeah, I definitely, I mean, I very much enjoy when he gets the suit taken away. Yeah, it does. I think it definitely adds stakes, but it just represents a lot for the character. And obviously, the If This Be My Destiny part was really good. The reference to that. The whole warehouse scene was really well done. I wonder if...
I feel like I just wish they would have put more emphasis on, like, he's not Spider-Man because he wants to, he's Spider-Man because he has to be. Because I feel like he just enjoys it a lot in this movie as well, though.
Yeah, they could have. But I think that at one point, he faces... I think he does face the consequences multiple times.
I feel like they're going to go a lot of that into No Way Home based on, like, the line where he's like, the 1 week since I've been bitten by that spider, like, this was the only week that's all normal and it was with you.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm enjoying.
Yeah, it could give new context to all of this, which would be cool. So yeah, overall, this certifies. I think I ranked Vulture as number 3 for my villain ranking. This definitely certifies it. I fucking love this villain. And then the fight scenes, because there's a lot of them, and I really like all of them. They're like really memorable. And if I can't remember them, then they're not. But like. We kind of covered them all, but the Washington Monument scene, I really liked that. I liked a lot of that, because like the teacher, he's funny. I also really like that part where he's like, I couldn't bear to lose a student out again. So I love that guy. He has like a fear of heights. I think that's funny. That Spider-Man has a fear of heights, and just the stakes, because now there's like the bomb, and you don't know if it's gonna go off. It does. So yeah, overall, like the way they uses the helicopter and the web wings, I like also, because if they were just like hanging there the entire time, no bueno. I don't want the web wings just hanging on the side of him. But to be able to like deploy out, it's cool. I wanted to see the web wings. So fairy scene's cool, and then the final fight, I love it. The fire, he gets the fucking shit beat out of him. Could have seen more blood, but they probably couldn't have. But he loses the mask and all that. So overall, I really enjoy it. And, yeah. I think that's everything. Anything else, John?
Not really. It will, like, okay. Here's what I feel like. Sometimes, like, okay, think about it like this. Spider-Man, this guy's been trying to kill him for pretty much the entire movie, right? And he still goes into that fire to save his life. Yeah. I feel like that's Spider-Man, right? Spider-Man. But I feel like just when I'm watching this movie, I don't think of that until, like, way after. Like, now. I don't know. It's just... I don't know. I feel like this movie had a lot of good ideas. I just don't know if it was executed as much as I wanted it to be.
Yeah, see, I don't even know what to say to that, because I do. So, I don't know where the split is or whatever. But that whole fight was cool. Trivia?
You have trivia?
There's not much trivia. Also, well, there's 2 reused actors, which was quite strange. There's the Asian principal, who was a Howlin' Commando, but they say he's his grandson. Yeah. And then the teacher was from Incredible Hulk, Mr. Harrington. And so then they were like, it's the same dude. But he was so derpy, Incredible Hulk. But I can't say he necessarily had a globe. He has the same glasses. So. Yeah. Aaron Davis is in this movie. Sets up Miles.
We'll never see.
Miles. I want to see Aaron Davis.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying I don't want to see at least anytime soon. I don't want to see
Give
Miles.
it 5 years. Give it another 5
years. Maybe even more than
or 6.
We'd have like...
That'd be like 11 years of Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Yeah, but we'd have like only like 3 movies by then.
That's true. I don't know.
Maybe okay. Maybe...
I guess now I'm like based around if Tom Holland would only do this for like 10 years.
Maybe another 10 more years.
Yeah, why not?
Well, I feel like that could do another whole trilogy of just Tom by himself.
Yeah.
2 movies, and then you can introduce him in a third and final movie for him.
There's the interesting dichotomy of the selling of the Avengers Tower, including Cap's new shield and Thor's magic belt, which is never brought up again. Fantastic Four definitely moving into the building now. If that wasn't.
Yeah.
I think it was either going to be Oscorp or Fantastic Four. But now that he's directing Fantastic Four, it's like, okay.
Also, wait. I just wish they would have mentioned more about the magic belt and
I wonder what's up with that.
Also, I feel like Avengers Compound was completely wasted.
Yeah, no, it has like 2 scenes and then Thanos just blows those shit.
Yeah, like we see, like it's supposed to be this grand reveal. Look at this big new Avengers Compound, and then
I don't really care though because the tower is so much better.
I just feel like they honestly kind of had they were going a different way with things, and they're just like, we have to kind of do this.
Yeah, I think. Well, they probably into like Infinity War at that point. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, it's because with like End of Age of Ultron and this, it felt like they were gonna do like a second team and then go on from there. But then they were like, actually, let's just put everything together, finish this off. And then the last thing, the actor Vincent D'Onofrio wanted to appear as Wilson Fisk in this movie.
What?
No, there is nothing like concrete about if this was gonna happen, but I bring it up just because how cool would that have been?
It would have been really cool.
If he was like the secret buyer or something. Maybe he's Ant-Man and the Wasp. They bring up the secret buyer. Maybe that's him. Who knows if that was going to be
never done anything with that thing in Ant-Man.
Yeah. Well, they haven't had the time to.
You do it with like the Hydra stuff.
There's Hydra stuff?
Yeah, they steal the Pym particles or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They've never done anything with it.
Like, I probably like lost them on the way there. Like, he just dropped them. But yeah, that's all I have, John. A+ for me.
Either an A or an A-.
A-.
Yeah, I'll go A.
Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, that's not bad. Stars. 4.5 out of 5.
I'll give it a 4.
Okay, that's valid.
Like I think objectively this isn't a bad movie. I don't know what it is where it doesn't. Maybe it's just because it's like the other ones kind of had a similar tone.
I'm just surprised like where this is probably gonna rank in my ranking. I really didn't think. I honestly thought we're gonna rank them at the end of all this, but I thought it'd be very split off. Like I thought it was like gonna be Sam Raimi's trilogy, this, and the Amazing Spider-Man.
This is gonna be the most different that we are with any ranking list.
Things are gonna switch up here, so I'm surprised. I was pleasantly surprised by this movie, which I'm very happy about. Not excited for Far From Home because I'm nervous that I loved that movie. I saw it like 3 times in theaters. I'm nervous I'm not going to love it as much.
Oh, you know what I'm doing, Jack?
Cross our fingers that I do.
I'm going to see No Way Home 2 times, one day after the next.
I probably will too.
Well, I was going to go with somebody else, but you can come too. You can
Fuck you, John. I'll go with someone else.
McDonald's Grill?
Yeah, no. Anyway, that was Spider-Man Coming Home. Spider-Man Coming Home. Tell us your thoughts down below. Do you like it? Do you not? Is this Spider-Man to you? Check us out on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and the Metaverse. We have boobs on there if you want to go check those out. Spotify has a podcast that we do, and so does Apple Music. Dibbity-dabbity-doo. What are you going to do? Spider-Man No Way Home. Whoa.
Wow. No Way Home.
Bars. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you shortly hereafter.